Whoa, there are so many concepts and studies on the subject of communication.
Yeah, but I would really like to know more about how the communication process works.
Then let's talk about it in more detail. The next topic is understanding the communication process. It is important to understand the communication process because it helps us to build relationship with other person, and we use communication every single time in our lives. Without it, it is hard for us humans to interact with one another. That's why we need to understand it furthermore. There are 6 principles of communication process. The first one is we use communication to meet many needs. There are 4 types of needs we need to know, such as informational, instrumental, identity, and relational needs. Informational need. It evolved because of an interest to share and to know information to others. Here's the example.
Who are you?
My name's Haley Sachs. I recently graduated from Northwestern University.
What are you doing here?
Well, I think I could do a good job as your assistant. And, yeah, I came to New York to be a journalist and sent letters out everywhere, and then finally got a call from Elias Clark and met with Sherry up at Human Resources. And
Next one is the instrumental need. It enables us to get things done in our daily lives through communication with others. Here's the example.
Mademoiselle, bonjour. Une pain au chocolat. Pas une, un pain au chocolat. Ça sera tout? €1,40. Eh bien, on n'est pas rendu. Merci, have a bonne journée. Une bonne journée.
Identity need. It allows us to showcase ourselves to others and be perceived in a certain and desirable ways. Here's the example.
찼습니까, 이사님? 연락도 없이 여기까지 어쩐 일로?
내가 못 다닐 곳이 있니?
그럴 리가요. 이 모든 게 다 이사님 건데요. 안녕하세요. 일은 할만해요?
처음이라 좀 힘들긴 하지만 즐거운 마음으로 배우고 있습니다. 뽑아주셔서 감사합니다. 열심히 하겠습니다.
신입교육은 다 받았나?
네, 기본적인 교육은 받았습니다.
뒷받침 받을 때 주의사항은? 죄송합니다. 실습생이라 아직 그런 부분까지는 교육이 안 되어 있습니다.
뒷받이 주의사항으로는 첫째, 예약 잡은 성명과 카드 성명이 맞는지 확인해야 하고, 둘째, 카드 뒷면에 서명이 되어 있는지도 확인해야 합니다.
해피아워는?
라운지, 칵테일 바 등 식음료 업장에서 하루 중 고객이 붐비지 않는 시간대를 이용하여 저렴한 가격 또는 무료로 스낵 및 음료를 제공하는 서비스 상품 중 하나입니다.
영어로 안내해봐요.
Happy hours are from 3 to 5 p.m. and please feel free to have complimentary snacks and drinks at the hotel lounge.
조직원 로비로 올려.
Relational need. It allows us to maintain our social ties and relationship with others. Communication provides us with a means for developing, maintaining, and ending relationships.
Yan, ganyan. Galing-galing talaga ni Nikki. Manang-mana kay mommy.
Teka, patigil nga, Nikki.
Daddy, mamaya na!
Excited na kami ni Mami, di ba? Wow!
Oo,
Galing
diba?
ka.
Very good
One,
talaga
one, one.
eh.
The second principle is communication is governed by rules. It improves communication by allowing people to comprehend one another and efficiently transmit ideas, opinions, and information. The first rule is the explicit rule. It is related to what we say or write, which is typically intended to affect the actions of others. Explicit communication is intentional. The words are expressed clearly and directly. Example, your mother asks for you to go to the grocery shop and buy the items provided on the piece of paper. The second rule is the implicit rule. It refers to the action we take either individually or collectively, regardless of the information we send to others. Your body language, tone, and vocal features, facial expression, eye contact, and gestures are all utilized to transmit the message. Therefore, rather than being said out loud, the message is suggested or hinted to. Example, you and your best friend spotted your crush in the library and exchanged glances and smiled. Example, The third principle is communication comes in verbal and nonverbal forms. Practicing effective communication is essential for pursuing opportunities and establishing connections. There are 2 forms of communication, which is the verbal and nonverbal communication. Verbal communication. Individuals convey their thoughts, ideas, and emotion through oral or written language. Nonverbal communication, it involves interacting without using words. They instead communicate by nonverbal behaviors, such as body language, facial expression, and tone of voice. The fourth principle is the communication has content and relational dimension. The content dimension refers to the information being addressed specifically, whereas relational dimension communicates your feelings about the other person. Content dimension, a message transmits the literal information, while relational dimension, it conveys your feelings about other individuals. Content dimension, a message transmits literal information. Example, my unfinished business has left me extremely exhausted. Literal meaning, very tired. Relational dimension, it conveys your feelings about the other individual. Example, my unfinished business has left me extremely exhausted. Meaning, I am very tired and I would like to share a few of my concerns to you. The fifth principle is some messages is meta-communication. Meta-communication is defined as how people see you rather than just your words. Here's the example. Example, the brownies are very tasty, you say, but your face is filled with disgust, emotion. Example. The last principle is people give communication its meaning. Conversation is only effective if the recipient perceives the message as intended. Here's the example. Example, Kyle interviews his sister, and the question is, other people's perception or you as yourself. His sister interprets it as what her perception about herself. But what Kyle intended to say is what are her perception about him.